Hey guys, happy Monday. So, like I was saying, we're gonna talk about what energy immunity is today. We're gonna talk about that with my Reiki guru, my Reiki teacher, Rukhmini Punoose. She is a Reiki Grandmaster. She makes all these amazing smudges that you guys see me smudge every day. She's online. I'm gonna send her a just waiting for Rukmini to join us. And we're going to talk about something which I think is very important. I've been, hello,
Hi, how nice to see you.
so
How are
nice to
you?
see. I'm very good. How are you?
Excellent. Happy
You're
to be
glowing.
here.
I know. I'm so excited
I know,
that
so am I.
after 2 months again we are doing a live. It's
I know it's
exactly
been
two
two
months.
months, right? Yeah, it's
Exactly
been
two
2 months.
months. But this is, you agreed, right? This is the need of the hour. This is the conversation we should be having, right? With ourselves and with everyone else.
Absolutely. I mean, especially with the lockdown and COVID and what that has done to the entire world in the last 5 months, we definitely need to be talking about energetic immunity, right? And how we can build our energy boundaries so that we don't sort of pick up things from that don't belong to us, from
Correct.
our environment or other people. Yeah.
So, Rooks, I know you don't like doing this too much, but can you talk a little bit about what you do, what you've studied? You're a Reiki Grandmaster. About why it taught healing, how just a little bit, till it's 7 o'clock, so then we give people a fair enough chance to log in.
Sure. I mean, so I started my journey with Reiki and I became a Reiki grandmaster and a teacher over the years. And Reiki was just one of the many modalities. It was the most important one. It was life changing in many, many ways. But, I learned a variety of different ways to energetically heal people, teach people how to heal themselves. That's always been the mantra, actually, to, make people fully empowered and not dependent on
Correct.
me in any way. As you know, you've been a student of mine for many years, and you know that the idea is that you need to be able to heal yourself,
Absolutely.
and White Horse was sort of a an enterprise I started as a result of this because me and many of my senior students and many of my senior healers would find it really difficult. We'd spend a lot of time clearing the energy of people, clearing spaces. And I actually once was talking to one of my most senior Reiki masters, and I was saying, I wish I had a spray which I could just spray around a
You've said
room
that
and it
so
would
many
clear.
times. Yes.
Yeah, and it would clear the energy of the space or person's aura, and they don't need to be dependent on us healers to come and clear themselves. They can just use this, and that led to me getting really curious about herbology, Ayurveda, and different cultures across the world, and how they have used herbs and plants and resins and barks and trees to sort of create ways to clear their own energy and their spaces, right? And then I went and studied with a shaman in New York, in upstate New York. He studies in the Mexican tradition of shamanism, where I learned a lot about plants and their healing abilities. And if you look at it, actually, Vaibhavi, across cultures, whether it's
Yeah.
Turkey, Philippines, India, we've always used dhoop and
Always.
arti and all of that to
Agarbatti,
clear the
dhoob,
energy of a
even
space or a
oils,
person.
even oils,
Essential oils also all the time, yeah. So that's how White Horse was born, as a way to empower people, and so that they could take their their energetic boundaries into their own hands and not be vulnerable to other people, actually.
So that's why this topic is very relevant, right, Rukmini, because it is about your energy immunity.
Right, absolutely.
Can
So
should I just ask if they all can hear us? Should we, guys? Can we get a sound check really quickly? I can hear you very clearly. Rooks, you can hear me.
very well, yes.
Okay, so I think we should be good to go. It's 7:01. We can start. So,
Okay.
Rooks, I've been bugging you since a long time, but what exactly is energy immunity and why is it important currently in the time that we are living in, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great question. The starting point is actually understanding. So, what is energetic immunity? It's a way of protecting yourself
Mm-hmm.
and, energetically, basically, from feeling anxious, low, depressed, drained, sapped of energy because of these unusual times of COVID and the lockdown, right? So, to understand what that means, you've got to understand a
Yeah,
little bit about your energy body. So, we're not just this, this physical body. We have this subtle body around us, which I think many people know. It's called the aura, which is the
aura.
biomagnetic, electromagnetic field around us. And of course, now Princeton University, Berkeley, all of them have, done
Verified it.
studies to be able to
Yes.
measure it, right? Measure our energy fields and our chakras and auras. And yeah, so our aura is a 21-foot field around us, okay? And this
Right.
is 21 feet for a normal person, not even someone who's a yogi or a daily meditator. For that kind of a person, it's double. It's like 45
Right.
feet wide. And of course, people say that Sai Baba of Shirdi, his energy field used to go for
Yes.
like half the country. People could feel his energy,
Feel his
right? So,
energy. Yes.
so how your energy field has a lot to do with your state of mind. So, for
Okay.
example, our auras are porous. They're like sponges, okay?
Hmm.
And it has to be because the purpose of an aura is to gauge your environment and immediately transfer that, messaging to the subconscious mind to tell you whether
Correct.
there's danger or not.
Or
I
not. Like
often explain
intuitively,
this.
right?
Yes, I explain this even to students in my Reiki classes, saying that, a deer in a forest, all animals have auras as well, right? A deer in a forest could be grazing on grass and immediately
Immediately.
knows when a lion is, sort of creeping towards it because its energetic boundary, its aura has sensed the lion, picked it up and transmitted that message to the brain of the deer,
Right.
giving the deer the time to flee, right? Similarly, with human beings, when we enter a space, it could be a restaurant, a friend's house, a house that we're considering buying, it could be even a friend, like a person we just meet or someone we know. When we sit next to them or when we enter a space, we just have like a
A
positive feeling
feeling.
about a
Feeling.
feeling about the space.
Vibes.
Yeah, or vibes, absolutely, right? So you could, for example, walk into a restaurant and feel really light and happy, or you
Yeah.
could walk into a space and say, I just don't like it, and not be able to logically explain what it is about that space that turned you off. But basically, your aura is picking up the energy of that space, the vibration of that space, the frequency of that space, and transmitting it to you if it's very low because it's had a lot of, fights or depression or unhappy people, or, there isn't enough sunlight and air, the elements play a huge part also in
Yeah.
spaces. And that's how we pick up these things, right?
But do
And right
different
now
people
with COVID, we
do
absolutely pick it up with people,
but do
and we don't
different
even.
people pick it up at different degrees?
Absolutely. So some people are
Okay.
highly sensitive and some
Okay.
people are not as sensitive to energy. And it has a lot to do with your emotional bent of mind as well as your training. So if your training is extremely left brained and very, sort of process driven, scientific, logical,
Yeah.
etc., you may pick up stuff, but you may not, you
No.
may ignore it and not, sort of give it any importance. But if you tend to be artistic, creative, get hurt easily, can sort of just sense the emotions of others when you're sitting with them because you're really sensitive, those kind of people tend to pick up energies and, the frequencies of spaces much faster, right?
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean, and now with COVID and the lockdown, this is
Hmm.
the most unusual time that the earth has probably seen, because
Seen.
even when there were wars between two countries, it was just the two countries
Not
involved
the
that
whole.
that were, sort of feeling what was happening. But right now there's not a single country or region in the world that hasn't gone through this
Experienced or
crazy period
absolutely.
with the lockdown, right? And people have lost jobs, they've lost money, people are not used to not
Sick.
interacting
People
with
are
other
sick.
people. Yeah, they're unwell, of course, and there's terror that you're going to get it too. So the collective consciousness, that's the word we use when we're
Yes.
talking about energy, that sort of affects the entire, like world at the same time. It's called collective consciousness, which is the consciousness of every human being. The energy of every human being tends to be, in the last 5 months, far more fear-driven, nervous, anxious, frustrated, afraid of losing money, just missing having a normal life and socializing. So we as energy beings, we're not just a physical body, we're an energy being, right? We're picking this up subconsciously, all of us are, and it's affecting us at some level or the other, right?
Right.
And it can make you low or anxious, or just feel fatigued a lot. There could be so many emotions that are not even yours,
I
that you
agree.
kind of picked up because of the environment
Like
in
watching
the last
the
5 months.
news,
Yeah,
watching the
yeah,
news. I have become so
absolutely.
emotionally involved in it, and I get so affected by it. Because it's unprecedented, right? We've never faced this. I don't think my body or mind knows how to process this. We've not
Right,
left the house, we've not left our space in 6 months. It's
right.
affected, I think, everyone of
Absolutely. And the thing is, the news tends to rarely be positive.
yes,
I've
yeah, of
rarely
course.
seen a news
I
channel
mean, it's
that
news, that's why it's
focuses on
negative.
positivity, right? So, one of the ways to know if you're picking up a lot of this
Yeah.
information, which isn't yours, or the emotions of others, is to watch how you react to things like the news, for example, or even, when you're watching Netflix or shows, or if you listen to people who are gossiping, do you feel drained after that? Do you feel unhappy? Are you not able to explain why you're upset or low or
Okay.
anxious? If you are one of those people that we call an empath,
Okay.
an empath is someone who is very, very sensitive to energy and picks up the energy of the environment like a sponge, and then it makes them tank, it makes them depressed and low and unhappy, and often they don't realize that they've picked it up from other people. It's the energy of other people that they've picked up. So these
Right.
are ways to know, gauge yourself and see, are you really sensitive? Do you get hurt easily? Do you play dialogues that people have said over and over in your mind? When you used to go to crowded places before this had happened, before the COVID, would you get drained easily? Do you get upset and, for hours feel low after watching the news? Um, does the news evoke strong emotions in you? All these are signs that you're holding on to other people's energy,
Okay.
right?
So is this what energy immunity is? To kind of raise your field, your energy field, so you don't get that affected?
Absolutely. So, one of the ways to do it, the most simple way to do it, is to say, just shut your eyes and say,
Yeah.
if any energy doesn't belong to me, if it's in my body or mind or my aura and it doesn't belong to me, let it return to whoever it belongs
It
to.
belongs
And
to.
then sort of visualize that energy leaving your body like black smoke, right? From
Okay.
various parts of your body. And you'll be surprised to see how
You
much
can
will sometimes come
come
out,
out.
right?
Yes.
And it will go back to wherever it came from. And then as soon as you do this, visualize yourself taking a shower, with
Yeah.
golden light. So the golden light shower clears your energy field and kind of seals it in. And that's very, very important to do every single day if you tend to be sensitive, to
Okay.
protect, to sort of make your energetic boundaries stronger and clear what isn't yours. You need to make that a daily habit like brushing.
So
Okay?
basically, also, Rooks, there are lots of questions. So what we will do is, should we first talk about it and then take the questions? I'm noting the question, or do you want to read the questions while we're having this conversation?
So let me just talk about a few other things that you can do. Maybe I'll answer a few of the questions by just talking a little
Because
bit, and then we
yes,
can get
because
into questions.
it
Right?
is exactly what we can talk about, as in
Yeah,
give them examples as well. So
absolutely. So
okay,
another thing that I think is really important to do to strengthen your energetic immunity
yeah,
is without fail to have a salt water bath every
bath.
single day. Right? Now, there are all kinds. There's khada namak or like Himalayan pink salt, which
Right.
you can put into like, take a handful like this and put into a bucket of hot water and swirl it around and then take a bath. Always make sure that you wet your hair, especially up here. And if you put a handful in a bucket full of hot water, it's not going to do anything to your hair. So don't worry about that. So what I do is I've made this salt. It's called
Yes.
the Luna
The
Bath salt.
Luna bath
And I
oil.
put charcoal in it as well, activated charcoal and stuff, which is important. If you ever see the Nazar ka Nimbu, right,
Yeah.
that they hang on doors, it always has a chili, a lemon, and a piece of coal, right?
Coal.
Because coal has a tremendous ability to absorb, the negativity in the body. So that has to become like a daily practice to, sort of take a saltwater bath. And in many communities in India, for example, the Parsis, they do this without fail. They put salt, namak into the pocha ka pani, and they clear their entire house with it, or they have a bath with salt water. And that's the logic behind it, because salt absorbs negativity.
Correct.
Right? The
So
other
the
thing
first one, what I can, Rooks, can you even post all these on your
Yes,
Instagram?
so tomorrow what I'll
Yes.
do is on my Instagram, I'll put a resource list
Yes,
of
please.
things that people can do every day, as well as numbers of people who, you can contact if you need help in any way, right? So, like
Just
I said,
1 second. This video will be saved on IGTV, on Repersonalize. Rooks will also post the link on her page because there's so many questions. So yes, it will be saved. We have a lot to talk about. So if you guys will watch it, in case you miss anything, you can always rewatch it. Yes, Rooks, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so the other thing I highly recommend, so I'm going to just list things that I think are really important to,
Yes.
strengthen your energetic boundaries. So the first thing I said, of course, was, making sure that you clear your energy and
give back
send it
to,
back to whoever
yes,
it
belongs
and
to.
then have a golden light
Golden
shower
pyramid.
after that. The second thing was the bath salts, putting salt into your bath and having a bath every day. The third thing is smudging your space or clearing your space with bhimseni camphor. So this is not like regular camphor. You'll notice
That's
all the pieces
circular.
are
Yes,
irregular, like this.
absolutely.
Okay, and you can find this on Amazon, but make sure you type bhimseni camphor, because that is the pure camphor that is so pure, in fact, that it's edible and it's used in Ayurvedic medicine to make medicine. Don't use the perfect round, tablets. That's full of petroleum and really bad for you. So don't use that. So walk around your house with a lit piece of coal and keep adding the bhimseni camphor to it. And you will find that it has an amazing ability to clear space. Okay. You can also use things like sage. You get sage sticks now on Amazon. I, of course, use a lot of smudge. This is the Ganesh smudge, which is, going to be launched later next week, I think. And so you can smudge a space. All you need to do is pray and set the intention before you do it. I think all of you who've been following Vaibhavi or me know what smudging is. So I won't spend too much time on that. The other thing I highly recommend is to play mantras in your house, like the Gayatri mantra or Ek Onkar. All these are brilliant and powerful mantras that were received by the Rishi Munis, centuries ago in deep meditation, right? So they have a very high vibration. And so if you're anxious or you're low or you're upset and you play the Gayatri mantra on loop in your house, by your computer, whatever, you will find that slowly, in just 10 minutes of listening and chanting with it, you will shake off a lot of your anxiety and unhappiness and things like this, because a mantra has a very high vibration. And if you're vibrating at a low vibration because you're upset, it'll raise the vibration and you will stop feeling the same emotions of low and depression.
But we have to have the correct person or the correct pronunciation mantras to be played,
Absolutely.
right?
So always type in the Sanskrit pronunciation of Gayatri mantra, right? So don't, like a lot of the singers like Anuradha Kaudwal and all are, singing it. It's not in the correct, pronunciation. And the correct pronunciation is what changes your frequency completely, right?
Correct.
So japa or chanting a mantra. Two of the mantras I most recommend is the Shanti mantra and the Gayatri mantra. There are 142 Shanti mantras across the various Upanishads, and I can't tell you how powerful most of them are. They're all really short, so everyone who wants to find a Shanti mantra will find their favorite. I have my favorite Shanti mantras, and you can listen to them and chant along with it, or play it in your space. It really creates a radioactive energy field around you that changes your frequency. So it's a very powerful thing to do, and ideally always chant it 21 times if you're
Times.
and you'll just find a huge shift in your levels of nervousness, anxiety, fear, all of that. A certain power comes into you when you chant the mantras, right? So also japa, if there's a god you connect to, or even Om Namah Shivaya, or whatever you connect to, just saying Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya 108 times or whatever, it makes the mind have a single pointed focus. Mantra, the man, it kind of calms and focuses the mind, right? So this is a good way. Like there are times when you're so low you don't even want to get out of bed, right?
Right, exactly.
And when you go through something like that, just lie down, deep breathe 5 or 6 times, and then start Om Namah Shivaya or Om or any mantra that you feel you like or you feel connected to. Is very important to like the mantra that you're doing, and then start doing it, and you will start feeling a huge powerful shift within you.
Like
Okay.
you said, someone actually messaged me that, you're telling me, I spoke to someone about smudging. They said, I can't turn around to get out of bed. Forget me smudging, lighting cone or burning camphor. They might not want to chant a mantra. Is there anything that will instantly raise their frequency, which is not as cumbersome as lighting your coal, waiting for 10 minutes, putting your smudge, walking around? Is there anything else? I mean, okay, yeah, breathing, yes, but along with that?
So, like I said, deep breathing is a big one, and I'll talk a little bit about deep breathing in a bit. But essential oils, I'm a
Yeah,
big believer, and I have the deepest relationship with essential oils, because a high grade medicinal essential oil, if you just open the bottle
and
and
smell it.
smell it, it instantly enters your vasomoral tube, enters the brain, and opens up parts of the brain that are bogged down with depression and stuff like that. So I highly recommend making a mix of oils, like a roll on, and just putting it beside your bed, and putting it on your
Yeah.
wrists and smelling it, and that'll automatically sort of change how you're feeling. Just keep sniffing it deeply. And for example, I mean, I recommend that people who have a tendency towards depression or anxiety or insomnia or postpartum depression, always keep 2 or 3 oils at home, okay? Mix it into a roll on, keep it by your bedside. You wake up or you feel unhappy, just lie down, deep breathe, and sniff the oils. The oils have, sort of deeply healing medicinal abilities, right?
But they
Which
have to be
changes.
pure grade, right? You can't get on
No,
Amazon a
obviously not.
lavender essential oil. It's not going to really raise your frequency. How a pure grade essential oil will,
Yeah,
right?
so I highly recommend using medicinal grade oils.
Okay.
That's very, very important, because they've been tested by a board which has certified that this is the highest grade of oil, and you can use it for medicinal properties. And medicinal grade oils help with from asthma to
Correct.
depression to all kinds of things, and they're very, very powerful and useful. So yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example of a few. I tend to recommend lemon balm for
Rooks, can you show it a little
anxiety.
closer? Can you show it a little closer because
So this is
yeah.
something called
How?
Roman chamomile, and
Okay.
it's really, really good for insomnia, for people who struggle to sleep at night. I tend to recommend a mix for different things. So on tomorrow's resources, I'll post for depression or for
Anxiety,
chronic
depression.
fatigue, insomnia, anxiety. I'll post 3 or 4 categories in an oil
Lovely.
mix, so you all can look at it and access it, and then you will know exactly what to do. And I really urge you to sort of make a mix, put it by your bedside, diffuse it. In a home which sees a lot of stress, for example, if you find that your partner or people you live with are very negative and constantly, sort of grumbling about the government and the prices of today and how COVID is being handled, and you feel that negativity is affecting you, right? Diffuse frankincense oil in every room, because
Rooks, can you explain what diffuse the oil means? Just a quick
yeah.
one
So
second.
basically, what I would recommend, that if you want to, you just take a few drops like this, put 3 or 4 drops into a diffuser or a burner with a candle below. Everyone must have seen it, and a little bit of water. Put it all over the house, 3 or 4 of them, and in the morning put 3 or 4 drops, and it'll last for 4 or 5 hours. Or you can buy a cold press diffuser off Amazon, which you fill with water at the top, put it into an electrical socket, put the oils at the top, and it'll keep sort of spraying a gentle mist of the oil into the space. And what that does is it recycles the emotions. It cleanses what we call energetic elementals, which are our emotional toxic dump. So if I'm angry and I'm sitting on the phone and I'm chatting with a friend, or I'm having a fight with my spouse, or a family member, my energetic toxic dump has been dumped into that space.
In a space.
And essential oils keep clearing that and sort of diffuse that, keeping the space at a very clean, high vibration.
And you feel also good, right? When you walk into a space that smells good, automatically
Absolutely,
it
because
raises
fragrance is a huge part. Why do you think there's so many
Absolutely.
perfumes? There's an agarbatti industry, a dhoop industry, scented candles. Why? Because fragrance affects mood. It's as simple as that. And the best part is pure fragrance that is not tampered or toxic or chemical in nature absolutely affects our well-being. So it's
So does
a
it
wonderful
elevates your frequency, it protects your elevates your energetic immunity as well?
So the minute you feel good, right, your frequency rises.
Goes
The
up,
minute your
right?
frequency rises, your aura closes
Stronger.
off and becomes a shield, right?
Correct.
The only way we get hurt or sad or depressed or anxious or can't sleep at night, or for example ill, is if our frequency drops because we're not good, we're not feeling good, or we're unhappy, right? Because our thoughts affect everything. Our thoughts affect our physical body and make us sick. There's now science is linking stress and stressful thoughts with disease, heart disease, and Alzheimer's, and autoimmune disease, and so many things, right? So what is stress? Basically, stress is a way of thinking, right? And feeling a little bit of anxiety or a lot of anxiety, and that entirely affects your physical body as well as your energetic boundaries. So
so
absolutely.
you spoke about empaths, right, in the beginning of how, but today everyone needs to have that energy immunity, right? Everyone needs to raise their energy immunity and protect themselves, right?
Every single person who is feeling bewildered, upset, anxious, unhappy, or even worrying at any level about work or finances, or what is this, when is this going to end,
And so today
needs to
everyone
be,
is that.
I mean, unless you're a very, very strong person who doesn't get influenced at all by their environment, and that's a very tiny percentage of the population of the world, right? I mean, I may be feeling fine, but I'll talk to a student who's really upset because she lost her job or her husband lost his job, and I feel upset for them as well,
Of
right?
course.
So even if nothing's really impacting you directly, the world around you is getting impacted. So sure, everyone needs to be, it's their responsibility. I always tell students this, it's your personal responsibility to take care of your energy and your energetic boundaries. You cannot, you're not a victim of the circumstances. Yes, of course, we're all part of this world today that is going through this, but you have to take your own protection and your well-being into your own hands.
Your own
it's very
hands.
simple. this is all really, like, I've thought really hard on what is super simple for anyone to do that isn't complicated, and I think anyone can do most of these things, right? Another thing that I highly recommend is journaling.
Yeah.
Especially if you're feeling really overwhelmed and upset, and you find it hard to talk about it because you don't even know exactly what you're feeling. I'd highly recommend just pouring out everything you're feeling onto in a notebook and keep it personal. It's just for you. And we call this stream of consciousness, where there's no thought or logic. You just write and write whatever you're feeling till you feel all right, sort of written out, and you're done, and then you're feeling a little better. And then just go back to that whenever you feel that. The power in journaling is so immense, I can't tell you, right? So yeah, I mean, I really recommend it. The other thing I feel is a beautiful tool is pranayam. Okay, and I know that, I mean, we kind of take yoga for granted, being in India, like, yeah, yoga, whatever, right? But I mean, it's unfortunate that we think this way about yoga, because honestly, it's one of the biggest gifts and tools we have in this country, and now of course it's spread all over the world. But not like 110 Surya Namaskars. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pranayam, which is breath, right? And working with your breath, because hundreds of studies have been done on the connection between brainwave and breath, right? And when you breathe deeply, or do anilom vilom, which is alternative nostril breathing, or brahmri, these 2-3 types of pranayams with nadi shodhanam, which is the cleansing of the nadis. When you do these, you find a teacher, learn this online, just do this, and you will find that your brainwave changes from an alpha brainwave to a far more delta, calm, peaceful state just from breathing. And I mean, the nice part is, the yogis always knew this. Yeah. But what is interesting in the age of science and technology is how they've studied what happens to the brain with yoga in many of the universities abroad, by putting EEG or ECG machines on you, and having people who've been practicing yoga for 20 years do these things, and they find that it's unbelievable the effect long term it has on depression, anxiety, insomnia, weight loss, all of this, because there's a big link between weight gain and stress.
Of course.
Right? So yeah, so I highly recommend this. Are there any questions before I go further?
There are lots of questions, but do you want to take the questions up now, or do you want to do it all in the end? Then I can start reading the questions out to you, and we can just go. I've written them down, so I know exactly where to start. Do you want me to quickly read the questions, and then we can again?
Sure, you can. We can do a couple of questions, and I can dive back in.
What should one do when you come home and are unable to sleep because of negative energy?
Okay. Well, if you have the time and the energy to do it, I would recommend the first thing you do is take a saltwater bath, right? And if you have the energy, I talked about this a little bit, use roll-ons on your wrists and things like that, and start getting into a daily practice of smudging your house, your space. The minute you start smudging your space with camphor and smudge, you will not find this as much. You will walk into a space and you will find that it has a really high vibration, right? The other thing is, if you don't have the energy to smudge, if you have a bell in the house, like a ghanti, just walk around with it, ring the bell like loudly in every part of the house, and you will find an energetic shift in it, right? So these are the 3-4 things you can do.
Is it mandatory to have a hair bath every day with the salt bath?
So the head, the crown chakra, is where you attract the most amount of nazar. So the spots where nazar enters the body is the crown and the back of the neck. The neck, which is the very vulnerable chakra called the Alta Major Chakra, which tends to attract negative energies and nazar the most. So if you don't, sort of cleanse those 2 areas, you're not doing yourself
a favor,
doing a thorough cleanse of yourself. So yeah. So
but then you can smudge your...
So if you suspect that you're low, you're anxious, you're surprisingly tired, then definitely, put the salt water on your crown, on the top of your head and your neck. But if it's a normal day and you largely feel fine, there are days you can skip this if you feel like it's going to be a pain to wash your hair out every single day. Yeah.
What if social media or any media is making you feel negative? How do you deal with that?
I highly recommend social media detox. Go from, this is going to take a lot of self discipline because people are addicted and you can't stop being on it. But why do you want to make yourself feel bad? Look, I'm on social media too. I'm on, Instagram from time to time. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't make me negative, right? So I'm okay with it. But if I started watching a few shows on Netflix, it made me upset, so I just stopped. I'm very protective of my mind and my energetic body, and I take full responsibility for it. I don't want to be low and depressed. But I find that people sort of get hooked. They kind of
Yeah.
can't stop, they're in a loop and they can't stop. You need to stop. You need to stop if you find yourself getting upset. Be in tune with yourself. Check, am I feeling upset by being on social media? Then don't be on it. And also, I think have a routine in place. Like after it, if you tend to have the time, smudge yourself, use your roll-on of essential oils, keep inhaling the essential oils. Even if you just open the bottle and inhale it from the bottle, it'll do its work. You don't have to, make a giant mix and put it on and stuff like that. Yeah. So you need to discipline yourself a little bit if it's upsetting you. There's no other answer, really.
What if you feel low every day in spite of smudging?
Um, so sometimes we feel low every day in spite of smudging because there are certain, either circumstances in your life that are causing that, or you're absorbing the energies of other people and not able to, sort of release it. So one thing I would ask you to do is definitely try the 3-4 things I told you. For example, pranayam. That's really powerful. I'll give you anything if in 7 days of doing the 4 pranayams, which are 1 minute each, you still say this. I challenge anyone to this because I know the power of pranayam, right? There's also something called Yog Nidra, which if you type Yog Nidra on YouTube, it is yogic sleep, which is a deep meditative state. And they have guided meditations online. Try doing that twice a week and then message me on Insta, whoever's asked this question, and tell me how you're feeling. Yeah.
If you suspect someone's nazar is affecting you, what is the easiest way to release it?
Like I said, smudging, building a strong boundary. So, for example, if you're around that person, at least once a day, every day, ask the energy that they sent you to return to them. And then, sort of imagine yourself bathing in golden light, like a shower of golden light. The other thing you can do is imagine your aura like an egg around you as a mirror. So you are inside, the aura is around you, and the aura is a mirror. So anything that comes to you reflects back. Right? So visualize this shiny, bright, strong mirror around you. That also helps a lot.
Rooks, we can even use the sprays, right? The nazar spray is a good way to kind of shield yourself even before going
Absolutely.
somewhere.
So we have 3 in the series. Release helps you release nazar. Ground helps you bring the energy, like cleanses the entire body from top to bottom, all the auras and chakras. And shield creates a strong protective shield around you. So you can use the sprays before you meet people like that as well. Yeah.
There's so many questions. Do you want to talk or do you want to just keep taking questions, Rooks? Because we still want to talk about cord cutting and stuff like that, right?
Are there any questions about the things I was talking about till now?
Yes. How can you support someone you live with who's experiencing negative energy and may not be open to doing pranayama or smudging?
So the first thing I would recommend is get them into mental or emotional balance. I'm going to put this down in the resource list tomorrow. You could give them something called Bach remedies, which are flower-based remedies, or like herbal tinctures. I'll give you an example. This is called Deep Calm, okay, and you can buy this on the website. I'll put down names of Bach flower therapists who are really good. I don't do Bach flower anymore. I don't have the time. I used to do it a lot earlier, but definitely get them into a state of balance with something tangible like a medicine, and this medicine is so completely pure and organic. You can give it to a child. Both Bach and most herbal tinctures can be even given to children. So it's a good way to do it by for 2 weeks giving them something like
Okay.
this, and then you'll start finding them in 9 days. Guaranteed you'd find them calmer, more relaxed, more open, and then you can start bringing in things like the smudge and essential oils is an easy one because
That's
most
what
people
oils.
aren't resistant to essential oils. You can make a mix. I'm going to post some of the mixes tomorrow. You can make a mix and give it to them, rub it on their wrist, behind the ears, pulse points basically on the thymus and on the nabi inside the navel, and you will find that it will start changing their reactions, their moods completely. Yeah.
Or what oils do you recommend for anxiety and depression?
So, like I said, I will post all of them tomorrow on the resource list just because for in the interest of time. But since you're asking, for anxiety, I highly recommend a mix between bergamot oil and lemon balm. And for depression, I recommend and what kind of depression? So if it's postpartum depression, I'd recommend a mix of clary sage, geranium, frankincense. If it's regular depression, frankincense works beautifully in that situation. So yeah, I mean, I'll put a comprehensive list up tomorrow, so it'll be easier for you all to kind of look at it. Any
Okay.
other questions?
Yes, lots. There are lots. So, can we put essential oils into the bath water as well if you don't want to apply it on the body?
Oh, that's a lovely way. I think Tushar asked that question. Tushar, yeah, as you know, I am a big believer in essential oils in your bath water. In fact, even the Luna salts and the Sola salts are full of essential oils, so that it hits the bath water and you get this sort of your
The
and the
whole
left.
bathroom smells amazing.
Yeah, so and it makes you relax and really calms you down. So essential oils in bath water is a big yes. It's lovely.
Okay, how do you make out if you are under a nazar?
Okay. So some of the symptoms of getting nazar, mild nazar, okay, it could be really simple. You could have a tummy upset, you could feel nauseous, you may get a little bit of fever. It could be a physical symptom, right? Or if it's stronger nazar, then things don't work out. Things
Mm,
keep getting stuck for you.
stalled.
Anything that you want to do keeps getting stuck and you can't move forward, right? So also you feel upset, you feel negative, you feel low. You these words keep coming in your mind that nothing happens for me, everything gets blocked when I do it. When you think like this, most often there is nazar on you or on your family. Yeah.
Okay. What do you use to help with energy of kids around the age of 10?
What do you mean by energy of kids? The
I'm
question needs to
guessing
be.
the kid, yeah, I'm get kids obviously will have energy. Okay. What is the
Maybe they
best?
can clarify in another question.
Uh,
But
Bhumi
so for
Rabbit, if you can just
example, I
clarify.
see a question by Ruchi, Wami Rabbit. Bath as in bucket or tub only? Definitely either, right? So if you don't have, most people in Bombay aren't lucky enough to have tubs. So if you don't have a tub and you have just a bucket, put it into your bucket. Put 5 or 7 drops of pure essential oil straight into the bucket, and then let the bucket be filled with hot water, and then have your bath. Yeah.
What object to have by the front entrance of the house? Uh, I'm I'm guessing that's the question. To ward off bad vibes, I'm guessing.
So I don't really put objects though I mean, obviously the traditional thing to put is the nimbu and the, you know, mirchi and things like that. I smudge my home thoroughly. There's not a day of my life where my home is not smudged. So that really helps. The other thing that really helps is if you leave, you know, akha namak in bowls around the house and change it every week, and it'll absorb negative energies, negative emotions, and then toss it out, and you know, refill it with fresh salt every week. Yeah.
Does salt bath help children?
Yes, it helps. My children get a salt bath every day, every single day of their lives. Okay.
Okay. There's one last one. What is the right way to use rock salt in bath? Someone told me not to use it every day.
I used it every day of my life. I seem fine to me. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to go and talk a little bit more about two last things before we wind up for today. One of them is grounding and the other is cord cutting. Okay, so let me explain what grounding is properly for people who don't understand it, right? If you tend to be the kind of person who spends a lot of time in your head, so you think a lot, right? So our bodies have an energy circuit called nadis, what the Chinese call meridians. Okay. Now the nadis run like lines through our body like this, from up to down, and then on the back from down to up. So it's almost like a circuit of energy that rotates around us, right? Now, for those people who spend a lot of time in their heads, like they're fantasizing, daydreaming, planning, thinking, worrying, being anxious, stressing, what happens is this entire area, you create energy blocks. Okay, so the meridians or the nadis will not flow through from here and it will get stuck. Now, what happens in a situation like this is a variety of ailments. Okay, if your grounding is off, for example, you will find that you cannot focus. You have very, very poor ability to for balancing. You know, you're clumsy. You'll keep bumping into things, knocking your knees, knocking your feet, keep twisting your ankles, etc. Right? You'll get a lot of migraines and cervical issues. Okay, so neck pain, migraines, cervical issues, headaches. All of this is a sign of very, very poor grounding. Okay. The other thing that tends to happen is, because you can't focus, because all this is blocked. So how does your brain, you know, sort of have the clarity or the focus that you require, right? So you will find that in these situations, the primary reason is because your grounding is fully off. Okay. So one of the ways to make sure that you stay properly grounded is to focus on deep breathing every day. Like, it has to become a part of your daily life, where you do 3 to 8 deep breaths with your hands on your stomach. Feel the breath rising, you know, your stomach coming out and going back in. So deep diaphragmatic breathing. Okay. And you need to make sure that you use daily oils like patchouli, spikenard, cedarwood, mixed in, say, a coconut
So
oil.
on your pulse points, right? The oils, or for different
But you must
things?
always mix it in carrier oils.
Oils.
Never plain.
Can you show, Rooks, can you, just too quick. You took away the bottle very quickly. Can you show us the bottle? And in case we have the next 5 minutes, we're going to log back on in again for the second session, because Insta will kick us out. Thank you, Rooks. Yes.
Okay. So you need to mix patchouli or spikenard or cedarwood into, you know, a carrier oil like a sweet almond, or, you know, a coconut, or a jojoba, and you need to rub it every day as part of your night routine, on your knees, on your feet, on your ankles, on your calves. Deep breathe while you're doing it, and visualize thick roots coming out of your feet like a tree, going deep into the earth. Okay, and breathe deeply, imagining the breath going all the way down to the roots, which are in the center of the earth, and going all the way up, and then keep doing that to open up the circuitry that is blocked here. The minute you have a headache, it means you're ungrounded, right? So the minute you have neck pain, a headache, you're not thinking straight, you're daydreaming too much, you need to work with essential oils and breathing and grounding by imagining you have roots coming out of your feet. And the other thing you could do is think of having heavy magnets at the on the soles of your feet that are kind of stuck to the earth. Okay, so imagine magnets strapped to the soles of your feet. When you do this, you will find that your anxiety, your constant thinking, and people who are perfectionists, control freaks, who want to plan everything to the T, will have a million migraines. That's the reason you get migraines, by the way. So, or headaches, or scatter headaches, or whatever. So it's really, really important to bring the energy down from the head area, the neck area, to the feet with these practices. Okay.
Rooks, we'll have to save this session and come back again. I've got the alert already, so they'll kick us out in 10 minutes. Guys, we're coming back right now. I'm just going to save this session and we come back right away.
Sure.